I'm Derick Carver, and I'm the most American motherfucker you know. So life growing up for me was, I don't know, I think it was typical of the 90s. No fatherly figure. Raised by a single mom that was hard, like disciplined, like believed in spanking and all the stuff that contributes to like an overall well-rounded good kid or adult functioning in the world. And that's growing up in that atmosphere where your mom's doing both roles, working three jobs, and not taking help and kind of doing it on her own. It kind of puts things in perspective early on for you. So when you grow up and you reach adversity and points of adversity in your life, having already seen that and seen someone overcome that without a whole lot of excuses and just conquering each obstacle as it comes at them, even if it's not in like the most sexy or fashionable way, just it kind of sets that bar for you early that shit happens and you get over it. And so like I say, my childhood was typical of the 90s. That being said, there's good and there's bad, and growing up, having my mom and being where I'm at now, I'd say she did a good job despite all the bullshit. And as well as I adjusted to overcoming the leg, I think that's pretty testament to that. And then on top of it, crushing dreams and stealing souls in the process, and fucking dudes up in competitions, and fucking being good at shit I'm not supposed to be good at. It's all kind of, grown on that same foundation that she put in place early on. So I think, if that's the litmus test, I had a pretty good childhood. Lots of opportunities to learn, good and bad. If brute force doesn't solve your problem, you're probably not using enough. So that's carried on into the overarching theme. And then you're like 24, you graduate college, you commission into the Army, you go to Infantry School, you go to Airborne School, you go to Ranger School, you go to Mechanized Leaders course, you go through all the box to become a good infantry officer, and then you go to your first duty station. That happens to be the 82nd Airborne. So 240, 250, 260 pound lieutenants are unheard of at the 82nd, but there I was. 2009, I showed up, took a platoon, ended up deploying that August, went at Advon, was a liaison officer for the unit ripping in. Once I got established, took another platoon, and then was blown up in January on a dismount patrol to open up a school for 2,500 kids in Kellogg. So basically, we, the school was our decisive point. The Taliban wanted it closed because we allowed females to be educated there. That was unheard of, against all the rules or whatever they believe. And then going in, we reached a crossing point, detonation. It's weird when you get blown up, because I knew it was coming. My alpha team leader knew it was coming. It's actually why I'm missing my trigger finger, because I was squeezing as the bomb was going off, because the dude pops up and I'm raising my rifle and I felt my cheek press and trigger go finger started to squeeze, and then it went gray. Everything was gray, and I felt myself doing somersaults. And I thought, oh shit, like you just got hit by an IED. It's like, fuck, yo, IED. And then I was like, well, you're 40 feet in the air. They probably know. So that lasts like all of like a millisecond. And like, you land. And you kind of look around, you look at yourself, and immediately your training kicks in. So you do your buddy care. Look at your legs. I looked down, saw my right leg, wiggled my foot, it was good. Came up, my right thigh was bleeding. Looked at my left hand, this fingertip was hanging. Came all the way up, looked over, I was good. Looked to my elbow, there was like the tendons and muscles all hanging out of this. Came down here, and my glove was still pretty intact, so I couldn't bend those fingers. I assumed they were broken, but in fact they were both kind of broken and dangling. And then I looked down, and I saw my leg, and my foot was actually like off and over there, kind of like at an angle, and I tried to twitch my foot, and it like flickered. I was like, oh, well, that's not horrible. And then like, you know, you look and you realize that like I saw my femur, there was no leg, and then I kind of saw the like top of my calf and my boot over there. And then like, you know, dirt settles, you kind of look around, you assess the battlefield, you get casualties, like refused care, like got in contact on radio with higher, you're talking to, you know, helicopters, your boss, you know, your soldiers, lots going on in that initial moment that all of that happens, and it's just purely training. Small arms fire, so you react to contact, you're getting first aid care, you got a QRF coming in. It's all like happening simultaneous. And you neutralize the enemy, you stabilize the AO, you get your wounded out. We had 4 birds land. I got on the last one. Made sure the other dudes got off. We had 2 of the Kiowas land. We put 2 of our other guys on those birds and flew them out. My medic's like a champ. He took care of everybody with like 2 compressed vertebrae and like loss of. Basically, he had like a stroke on like the right side of his body, and the dude was putting pieces back together. And then, you know, all the dudes reacted to contact and did what they were supposed to do. So you get through that, and you know, you wake up like 3-4 months later, like you're in and out of consciousness, like you kind of catch pieces. I remember my buddies would, one of my buddies snuck beer into the hospital for me, like within a couple of weeks of being awake. And it's like the same time you have like the worst nightmare of your life. So it's like you're taking good with bad at this point, not exactly sure what's real, what's going on. That goes on for like 3 or 4 months. And then when you're kind of getting into it in a routine where you're kind of coming off the meds and things start making more sense, like that's when you start actually processing like, alright, so that's the right leg's all fucked up, the left leg's definitely fucked up. I still can't wipe my ass. And you know, I lost almost 80 pounds. I got hit at like 260, probably like a conservative like 12%. Wake up like 183, 184, like 32% body fat. It was insane. On top of that, you're in and out of surgery every day, every other day. So I think I had 52 surgeries with 52 blood transfusions and 5 plasma transfusions. And that's all in what, like 9 months? Like the first 4 were like super intensive, and then you're good and everybody gets an infection, and then I had to have like 5 more. So 47 in the first like, I don't know, 12 weeks. Flatline 3 times. It's all like the little bullshit things that you don't really think about until you put it all together, and then you're like, holy fucking shit. The recovery process at Walter Reed took was ready to go at like 11 months, and they kind of slowed the process down to 14, and then I was returned to duty as an operations instructor at 4th RTV. I went down there and I was it's like an operations officer slash instructor, so I got to help the operational side and then go out and do like the PT test with the dudes and, you know, give them a perspective that like this is real fucking life. Like it's cool when you see that movies and like it's like, you know, it's been your childhood dream or whatever to be in the army, but at the end of the day, like, you know, everybody cheers when they see a picture of a dead savage, but then when it's like your own dude rolled up, everybody's fucking feelings get hurt, not realizing it's both sides. So, you know, it gives them that perspective early on. And the guys, you know, some guys go on deployments and they don't see the shit end of it, so they don't really get the real perspective. And then, you know, when it happens, and it always happens, like you're gonna lose a buddy. That's, you know, people forget that shit happens. So now you kind of focus on doing that with the transitional stuff and helping dudes realize, like, big picture, all that bullshit matters. So, did the RTB thing, retired, got out, did the government contracting thing, that fucking sucked. Opened gyms, was an owner for a while, that ultimately sucked. Started competing and like just kind of doing it on my own and just doing strongman powerlifting and weightlifting and just do what worked. And like since then I've won most, if not all, of the major CrossFit competitions that are open to adaptive athletes. The same with strongman US and the world's strongest adaptive athlete in the senior division, like 4th in the US for standing. And you know, bench press, like I'm competitive for the top bench press records right now. And seated deadlift, like I'm gonna be the first dude slash crippled dude to ever do 1,000-pound deadlift. So it's like there's like small goals coming off of, you know, that major injury of losing a leg, but then at the same time, like recently tearing a bicep at a CrossFit charity event, you know, for kids in Newark. Like totally just being like trying to help somebody out and bad shit happens, equipment malfunctions and you lose a bicep tendon in the process, and that's just one more hurdle to overcome. So now it's about doing all that and maintaining all that on top of recovery. And that's when it's hard to, like, you know, suck it up and not make fucking excuses, not get caught up in the bullshit, and not like feel sorry for yourself because shit's hard. Like starting over once sucked, starting over twice is just like at this point it's almost fucking routine. But now it's, you know, it's being like 7 years older, 8 years older, and like pushing harder and performing at a higher level, like definitely helps you appreciate it, like enjoy the process, because like you feel yourself getting better. A lot of times I get asked what keeps me going and kind of what my motivation is, and that's like a loaded question, but a few quick rants, tangents, be too dumb to fail. Like, I don't know shit's supposed to be hard when I do it, I just do it, and then people are like, holy shit, that was hard. Like, people are always concerned with how much weight's on the bar, or what the record is, or who's in first, or what their time is. And the truth is like, just doesn't matter, just go beat it. You know, everybody wants to talk shit and be a wolf or be a Viking or be a what, a fucking gladiator. What else are they? Lions. There's a lot of lions. What else? Spartans. A lot of fucking Spartans. And the truth is like, you want to embody that shit, just go do what needs to be done. Don't worry about the details. Like, I couldn't imagine not going to the gym. I wish, I pray every day. I wish to fucking God I could sleep until fucking 8 p.m. a.m. one day. Like noon, I don't know. Like last time I slept till noon, I was in college. But like in military, like you're used to getting up and done and started by 5:30 a.m. So you're done at PT by 9, 8:30, 8:30. So like by the time some people are getting up, like we've already worked out, and that just becomes habit after so many years. Like we've even had conversations like, what do people that don't go to the gym do after work, before work, like at night? Like it blows my mind. So I think like with the fitness there, it's like that's always part of the culture, and that's the subculture, and that's why the shit works. Because even if you're not a bodybuilder, even if you're not a powerlifter, even if you're not a strongman, even if you're not a CrossFitter, like there's a place for it, because there's that niche of fitness. Like not everybody's strong. Just like I'm not running a fucking marathon. You know what I mean? Like I got friends that are like, let's go run a marathon. I'm like, no. I don't know. It takes me a half hour to drive a marathon. Can't imagine how long it takes me to run one. But I think the discipline aspect rolls over into it, because you set long-term goals, and yeah, it sucks getting up at 6 a.m. But like at the same time, like it is true. Like healthier people are harder to kill, and they are more useful. Like that's the whole fucking point. Like yeah, it's cool to look good if that's your sport, but at the end of the day, like be able to use it if you need it. No point in having it. No point in being able to fucking do it if you can't fucking use it. And that's why the functional fitness piece is the cornerstone. Be strong and be fucking functionally fit. Like be strong and know how to use it. Like that's what separates men from boys and athletes from people that just like to do fucking sports. Is the people that can apply whatever leverage, whatever advantage is given to their body from their sport or their cornerstone, and apply it to every other sport. That's what I do with strength and strongman. And that all came from the military, and being strong and fucking carrying heavy shit and moving it into fucking combat and fucking carrying that and more shit out. So why America Labz? Initially it was for the products. The red, white, and boom was not overwhelming, helped me focus, kind of gave me the pump that I was looking for without getting jittery and lost. But then in talking with the organization and getting to know what they stood for, definitely the marketing approach as far as just not giving a fuck. Like I told them, I was like, I cussed, like, I don't give a shit. I was like, I'm gonna hurt people's feelings. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't believe in last place trophies or hand claps. Like, neither do we. So it was like a philosophical match. But then, like, getting into the negotiations and everything with them, like they were proposing ideas as far as like bringing charities into it, making sure veterans are taken care of, like working with soldiers and like making sure that guys were taken care of that needed to be taken care of, whether they were buying product or not. Like in places we didn't even sell product, they were hooking dudes up, dudes that wouldn't even be able to buy product for 9 months because they were deploying and already like just there was no win in it for them. They were wanting to help those guys out, and that's kind of what sold it for them. It made it even easier to get on board with and make work. That charity aspect starts at home, and those proceeds, $1 of every container of red, white, and boom sold is going to Team Some Assembly Required. And that's an organization founded by veterans and takes care of veterans and non-veterans at this point, but mostly veterans as far as adaptive athletes and getting them to events and legitimizing their sports, strongman, CrossFit, all of it. You see it happening. Like they're involved, and that's really what matters. helping people out and fucking shit up. The best part about American Labz and working with them is it's definitely the approach, because really it's like they don't give a fuck. Like, it's man up, get shit done, be accountable, you know, put in fucking honest work. Like, everybody's hustling, everybody's got multiple jobs. Like, everybody's got multiple hats and doing multiple things, and it shows in the way they approach doing business. Like, as long as you're genuine and as long as you're not just being fucking fake for likes or follows or you know, even fucking selling your fucking product, you're gonna get exposure real quick, and you're not gonna be a part of this company. And that was awesome, because that's hard to find. You know, accountability is huge, especially in the fitness industry. Everybody thinks just pushing their gut out, relaxed is accountability these days. And that's not the case. And then, like, at the end of the day, like, when all is said and done, like, you gotta do things better and different. And, you know, in the few instances that you can't do something different, just fucking do it better. And that's like, I don't know, what keeps you fucking going? I don't know, just being fucking better. And that works. I'm Derick Carver, and I fuck shit up, like, regularly. Like, I make a habit of it. Like, in fact, I make a living off of fucking shit up regularly. And I'm good at it.